Hey, what's going on? It's John Diab, and today we're going to talk about the 5 flakiest zodiac signs. Now, when I talk about flaky, we're talking about people who lack commitment, people who say that they'll be here at a certain time and then they don't show up, people who say maybe they want a relationship but then they pull back, people who basically will not commit to things, or they're very slow to commit, or they pull back and they get out of engagements very quickly. And so with that being said, these are the flakiest signs who are prone to doing these types of things. The first on the list at number 5 is Libra. Libra is indecisive as hell. Libra does not know which side to choose because Libra is always balancing one thing versus another. Should I be on time and show that I care about this job, or should I be 5 minutes late to show them that I really don't? Libra is always weighing these things, and so Libra is very much indecisive about a lot of things, and that shows in their relationships as well. Libra can be flaky, and Libra will not only be flaky, but they'll try to get out of engagements by diplomatically lying about the entire thing. Libra will say, you know what, my car had a flat. They'll come up with a story that sounds like a well-composed lie, and it's very diplomatic. It's something that will not make you feel as bad, but in the end, they're still being indecisive and they're still being flaky. Now, at number 4, we have Aries. Now, Aries is basically a sign that is very impulsive. Aries, one of my friends described it as, I feel like I'm a dog chasing a car, and I see a car and I want to chase it. And Aries is so impulsive that sometimes they come off flaky because they're chasing one thing and they're neglecting another thing, and their attention is dedicated to that thing that they're trying to chase. So Aries can also get out of engagements that way. They'll say they want to do it 1 minute and the next minute they won't. They say they'll show up and then they don't. Aries is very impulsive. It depends on how they feel at the moment. It depends on what they're chasing. It depends on what they're going after. Aries is self-focused, so it's whatever I want to go after. And so Aries can typically flake out of relationships, flake out of engagements. So Aries earns a solid number 4 on the flaky scale. Now, number 3. Another sign that has issues with commitment is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is often fake. Sagittarius can say things and not truly mean them, but they will be facetious in order to try to keep a social thing going on. They'll try to be facetious in order to, keep it looking like we're friends, but we're really not. And to me, that classifies as flaky. That classifies as fake. Also, Sagittarius does not like commitment and being locked down in relationships. Once they get older, that tends to change, but a younger Sagittarius is typically not going to enjoy commitment and engagement. As they get older, it gets better, but it does not necessarily go away, because I know older Sagittarius people who still have not committed, who still have not made a decision to choose someone in their life, and that's because Sagittarius will often flake out on engagements and flake out on people. Now, at a solid number 2, we have Gemini. Gemini is ADHD personified. Gemini has so many things going on, so many pots in the fire, irons in the fire, that it's very much difficult for them to focus on one particular thing. They got the date at 7 o'clock. They got, the football game at 7:30. They got friends to meet at 8 o'clock. And sometimes because they're juggling all those things, they tend to leave things out and leave people out. And so with that being said, Gemini can be very flaky because they got so much going on. And also they have this lack of focus. Gemini is what they call scatterbrain. Gemini is focusing mentally on this and this and this and this and this. And sometimes when you're focusing on all those different things, relationships and engagements, they get the drop, because Gemini is focused on other things. And so Gemini earns a very solid number 2 on the flaky meter. Now, the number 1 flake in the zodiac is Pisces. Pisces is the number 1 flaky sign in the zodiac in many things, because Pisces tends to be more of a passive or a wimp type of person who will not necessarily face you straight on or head on. And so they will do or say little things to try to get other people to flake out on the engagement, or they'll do other things to try to try to facilitate the situation to where they don't necessarily look like the bad guy. Libra's guilty of that too, but Pisces is number one at that. They never want to look like the bad guy. And so Pisces will often flake out and not show up. And then, later on they'll have some excuse to try to placate your feelings. They'll do some of the same things that Libra does. And so Pisces is basically a real flake also when it comes to your relationships. Pisces tends to back out of things very slowly, very subtly, and next thing you know, there's no relationship at all, because often they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and they're basically too afraid to end it. So basically we have to force you to end it because we don't want to end it. They also do this with engagements. They also do this with friends. And so Pisces is very flaky. They will change their mind at the drop of a hat. And so with that being said, Pisces earns number one on the flake scale. Pisces is indeed very flaky. So if you're expecting commitment, Pisces will probably flake out at the last minute. Or if Pisces does commit, sometimes they get in and then they decide, I don't want to be here, and they start flaking out after they have committed to something. So be on the lookout, because Mars also in those signs shows how a person can move flaky. It's not always a sun sign thing. Sometimes it's in your Mars. Sometimes that Mars in Pisces is real flaky, just like a sun in Pisces. So with that being said, that is the 5 flakiest signs of the zodiac. Peace.